All right, as we're reaching some of our last crucial, I'm going to bring it back into RISD. How do these issues affect RISD students, and how can they utilize their power as image makers to incite change?
Well, I kind of touched on this before. I mean, like me as an artist, like I feel like it's very important for each individual to figure out their own voice and to take your time to figure out how you want to articulate these situations. And I think as artists, like we have the ability, like look freaking RISD, like or I think, like y'all go to RISD, and you have the ability and the resources and like the access to like make work and be and get your voice heard. Like you don't have to like protest and you don't have to march. You can think about it. And like that is how you can use your voice, and that is important. And that's one of the big things that Jess and I are trying to do with this Artists Against Protest platform, or police violence platform, is that we want people to make work about their feelings and their insecurities and their doubts be sharpened. And I think that's one of the biggest important things that we do as artists, is like to not be afraid. And sometimes it took me a while not to be afraid and figure out how I want to articulate my voice in this situation. And once you get there, like the only person stopping you is just you. You know, you have to do it. It's important.
And adding on to what John said, that my foundation you're drawing professor told me that I think actually relates to like politics and everything is that he told me that it's like important to like humble yourself to the topic, and I think a lot of that is like meeting something like where like meeting yourself like where you're at and stuff, and like and even if like you don't like even if you like don't know what to say, like to give yourself like that space to like use art as a way to like process things and stuff, and like making art does not necessarily have to like give an answer, but I think that when like a really tragic event happens, like there's a lot of different kinds of like processing that needs to happen. There's I think art can like memorialize like something, and it can also like heals. It can also heal something and be really tender, because I feel like a lot of political art is seen as like really like didactic and like raised this and like propaganda and stuff, but there's also like a way to like infuse like your own like identity and your own like processing into a piece that's like tender and stuff. And every time I make art, every time I make art for like a movement, like I think about like I kind of imagine myself like opening up to like a lover and stuff, and like because I think that a lot of the reason like why people protest is not because of anger, but also because it comes from a place of deep love. So if we're able to like treat like the movement the same way that we tend to like a relationship that we care about, I think that opens up like a space for a lot of personal and intimate art to be made.
I think that part of that is still creating pieces that shock people. You know what I mean? I was doing some research before I came here. I'm not really like an artistic person. I stick to stick figures, but a lot of the art for early hip hop covers was very political, and it shocked people and it made people uncomfortable. And I think that we kind of need to tap into those ideas and the legacy of those ideas, like things like Ice Cube's America's Most Wanted album, Public Enemy takes a nation of millions to hold us back. I think that even though the artists themselves might not have been very political, the way they helped these rappers put themselves out there and express themselves was very political, and just the way hip hop culture, more specifically, you know, street art, graffiti, things like that, have developed, speaks to like there's like a rebirth, I feel like, because people have the means to express themselves, you know? Like social media, people are starting to get good with Photoshop now. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. You know, RISD has like a resale store where they sell like the old stuff, and you know, somebody might not be able to afford to walk in and get a brand new spanking pink pen, but they can go to the one down the street, the store, and get like one that's halfway full, and you know, he can start tagging and become the next biggest graffiti artist. And we also have to support these efforts within the kind of legislative structure. Like one thing I noticed about Providence has an anti-graffiti task force. That's cool, but if they're gonna do that, we should also see them opening up spaces for people to learn how to tag, people to learn how to create these pieces, and knowing the difference. Well, what's the difference between the tag and what's the difference between throwing a piece up, and understanding how, to some people, throwing a piece up on the side of City Hall might be vandalism, but to somebody to a young kid from the city who, you know, who's poor, who doesn't have access to something like this, the simple art of tagging or putting a piece up on the side of a building is, you know, retaking public space. And I think that something like that can be explored within the Black and brown and working class communities.
I think it's important for resistance to recognize the power that they have as image makers, as visual artists, because yes, you're making art here at RISD, but you're also going to make art when you leave RISD. And you take your awareness of these social issues, you're informing people about the world, you're taking things in to create content for the world. So realize that we're all going to be out there in the media, we're going to be working with these people. So know that, take your awareness about these issues to correct someone. Like, oh, we want to do this in this commercial with like a black guy doing this and this, and hold on, wait a second, I don't think that's right. You know, correct people with your knowledge as an artist, as a human being, as someone who's aware of these issues, and use that to inform the rest of the world.
There's something else that I wanted to add about how, like, I feel like a gift that RISD, like, is able to leave you with is, like, the ability to, like, look at a painting or, like, look at, like, an idea, how decide what it needs, and also, like, being able to creatively problem solve, and, like, I guess, like, most of the time in the classroom, like, the thing on the department, like, it's thought to, like, serve, like, the commercial art world, or, like, the contemporary, like, fine art world and stuff, but I feel like a lot of the same, like, the same skills that is taught is able to be, like, applied to, like, political movements, and also to, like, creating, like, creating the world that you one day dream to be as well. So.